evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner. In a previous video, I told you there was one more reason why people don't watch my videos. I will cover this in this video, but first, I have a few questions to ask you. And I want you to think about them very carefully. Okay. Number one, did you learn anything from my YouTube channel today? Did you share any of this information with anyone today? Did you tell anyone what a web browser was? Did you teach anyone how to use a search engine properly? Did you tell anyone how to find my featured video? Think about it. Let's go on here. Did you share the hyperlink to my featured video? In one of my previous videos, I actually placed the hyperlink to my featured video directly in the description. Did you see it? Did you place it on your Facebook page, your Instagram, your Tumblr? Did you do any of that? I wonder. Did you tell anyone how to find my videos even if they don't use my playlists? Think about this. Now, if you happen to be one of my younger viewers, then the next question is for you. Did you watch any of my Instagram videos? And if you did, and I say this again, and if you did you go to their accounts? Did you rate and comment any of their, not videos, but photos? Did you rate and comment any of their photos? Did you tell them that the Speed Learner sent you? Think about this for a second. Listen, when you interact with these Instagram users, okay, when you interact with them and you have your own Instagram account, when they know you're looking at their photos, more than likely they're going to come over to your account and they're going to rate and comment on your photos. And yes, they do actually have videos on Instagram. They're very short, but they do have videos on Instagram. But they will actually rate and comment on your photos. And that's called social media. That's real social media. That's real socialization. Think about that for a second. You say, well, we share it amongst each other, but how is this benefiting you? When you tell them that the Speed Learner sent you, word gets around that the Speed Learner's out there. Now I want you to think about this for a second. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was a shooting, a school shooting in Washington State. Does anybody remember that? I know you do. Could it have been prevented if those students had known about my YouTube channel? There's a possibility that could have happened. You see? When you start spreading me around, then there's a good chance I, through my videos, can decrease the violence in the schools. No guarantees on that, but it's possible. It's very possible. I've already told you in previous videos that when you become more educated, you get placed in advanced placement courses, which on a normal basis would separate you from the bullies that are attacking you. And when that happens, then there's real harmony and there's real peace. Now there's another benefit to spreading me around, because there's a lot of people out there facing eviction and starvation that have no idea that all they need is a higher education to acquire higher paying gainful employment. And I'm building that bridge right now. And you've seen it for yourself. When you help me, you're actually helping yourself. Think about that for a second. So, well, how am I helping myself? Because when these people who are facing eviction and starvation start earning more money, they spend it in shops. And if you're working for those shops, you earn more money because they're spending money in your shops. And that improves the economy. You want these people that are going around saying, hey, give me $15 an hour. Do you want those people to go away? Let's give them a good education and make them go away. When they have a good education, they're not worried about their income anymore. That's how we fix that. You see what I mean? So when you're helping me, you're helping yourself in two directions. Not just one, but two. You're drawing attention to your Instagram accounts, to your YouTube channels, because of me. And I make doubly sure that that really happens. Because not only have I done collab videos with Crazy Josh Cravey, which is drawing attention to his channel just as much as it's drawing attention to mine. On top of that, I have worked with Boink the Clown. I have worked with David Matthews. I have worked with Adam's Life. I have worked with, there's another one. His handle's not Higgins anymore, but I'm going to leave a hyperlink to his channel right down here so you guys can check his channel out too. And more importantly, Jacob's videos just got a hold of me, and I want to leave a hyperlink to their channel so people will go check that out as well. When you help me, I help you. And the best part is that a lot of times I've helped you first. I've helped you to help me to help them. And when they get help, everybody's happy. See what I mean? That's what it's all about. That's what social media is all about. That's the positive thing of social media. We help each other here. And that's what it's all about. Now, some of you people have realized all this and have done exactly what I asked you to do, and because of that, you have reaped the benefits of this. Sadly, I have to say that some of my students never have. You remember those questions I asked a little while ago? For them, their answer would be no. It's just like a farmer who plants his seeds. Think about this for a second. If you don't plant seeds, crops do not grow. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Now then, think about this for a second. A few years ago, I uploaded a whole bunch of videos showing you people how to build 2 whole computers. I did that. Recently, because you guys have been so desperate for money, I have actually now shown you some of the very computer code that I use to create web pages and computer programs. And there'll be more of that coming soon. So stay tuned for that. Why was that done? One, I don't want you to distrust your computers anymore. People just don't trust their computers. They feel it was so much Norton and so much McAfee and so much this and so much that nothing runs on their computers anymore. And there's no reason for you to be afraid of your computers. You only need 2 things to not be afraid of your computer anymore. One, higher paying gainful employment. Because if you have that, you have enough money to fix your own computer. You are spending way too much money letting a technician fix something that you can fix yourself. Sure, you need a technician to fix your motherboard. Sure, you need a technician to fix your power supply. After that, you don't need a technician anymore. Not really. Flip out a video card, flip out a sound card, flip out a hard drive, flip out some RAM. You don't really need a technician for all of that. But you do need a technician for mounting a motherboard, placing a CPU on a motherboard. You really want to mess with that thermal glue? I don't. Or hooking up a power supply? I've done that once. I won't do that again. That scared me to no end. Okay? So, anyway, that's one of the reasons why I did all that. As a matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago that I actually had an old laptop and I flipped out a hard drive and videotaped the whole thing and showed it to you. Think about that. I did that, number 1, to get you people to quit being afraid of your computer. Number 2, I know that there are some of you out there that have benefited from me so much that now you know you can trust me. You know who I am. You know the good and the bad and the ugly about me. You know everything about me. And more importantly, I have come to you showing you how to repair your own computer and showing you some of the computer code I actually use in building my websites and my computer programs. And some of you may actually end up being some of my future customers. Because that's what I do. I do data processing. And some of you may actually hire me to do the data processing you need done. And that's a good thing. And that generates revenue for me. by generating revenue for you, one of these days you may actually generate revenue for me. And that's the perfect circle. By helping you, I've helped myself at the same time. And that's a good thing. So, you say, well, why don't people watch your videos? Well, I've given you some answers in previous videos, so here's the next one. The next one is this. Because some of these people want to remain in stupidity. So, what do you mean by that? Think about this for a second. They watch my videos, okay? And they learn how to build their own computers. And they learn all the computer code, so now they're using that computer code themselves. But then they come to me and say, I still don't trust you. Isn't that the dumbest thing you've ever heard of? After going to those great lengths to introduce myself, to help them out, to get them into a higher paying, gainful employment, and then on top of that to show them how to fix their computer without having to pay a technician right and left, and then showing them all, well, not all my code, but I showed them a whole bunch of my code too, and they still tell me they can't trust me? That is one of the most ludicrous statements I've ever heard. Think carefully about what I just said. These people want to live in ignorance. They are the mini the moochers. They are the ones I have spoken of so often in my YouTube videos. They don't want to fix their situation. They just want to waller in it. Well, fine, waller in it. But don't come to me afterwards and say, hey, I want $15 an hour. Because I'm not paying you. The end. That's why I despise many of the moochers. Because they choose to remain in ignorance rather than deal with their situation. That's a fact. They're the real negative people. Now let me show you some more ignorance. See if there's more? Oh yes. Recently, I uploaded a video. It was a response to another video that had been uploaded by a band. It was a quartet. Well, not really a quartet, but it was a bunch of kids. They got together and they started singing. Okay. So the group name was Pentatonix. They uploaded a video entitled Evolution of Music. And I, of course, now this video it was shared on Facebook. Okay, it was actually shared on Facebook. I talked about this in a previous video, but I actually responded to their video, and I'm going to read my response to them. All right. My response was, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of turning the camera here. It said, my response was, they spent too little time in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Where was Elvis? Where were the Bee Gees? Where was Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder? Where were the Mamas and the Papas? Where were Peter, Paul, and Mary? Personally, I think they misrepresented the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That was my whole response. And he said, well, how did they respond back to you? Well, before I tell you that, I'm going to have you look up the definition of conformity. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a hyperlink down here so you can actually read about conformity all by yourself. And you can do research on the word. Go ahead, do it. Pause this video right now. Do research on conformity. I can wait. Okay. Now that we're back, now that you know what conformity is, I want you to listen to what these people actually said and see if you can detect conformity in any of their statements. I bet you can. We have Jeremy Stewart. He says, personally, I feel you don't appreciate the awesomeness of what they did. Rock on and stupendous work. Now, where in my comment did I ever say I didn't appreciate their work? I didn't. Now then, viewing that there was a possible mistake that I made myself, I went ahead and put up a second response because I felt that I think I made a mistake too. Okay? And that's because I was so focused on the negative that I didn't say anything positive first. And that's not always a good thing. But then again, I didn't think I'd have to baby these people, but apparently I did. So here we go. So after he said that, this is what I said. I do think they can sing well, which is true, and they have a good harmony. That's absolutely true. But I also think they don't understand the 3 decades I mentioned very well. That's exactly what I said. So the issue was not their singing. It actually really wasn't the choice of songs that they actually decided to cover. Because most of those songs were pretty good songs. So it wasn't the choice of songs. It was the format that they placed their video in. Think about that for a second. They were, in essence, and this is very important, there was 2 parts to this. They were, in essence, trying to present that the songs they were covering were an accurate representation of the periods of time that they were trying to discuss. That's why they titled their video Evolution of Music. That's why they had a little counter on the upper right corner of their screen. That's why they did that. And then, because they knew they were going to offend people, they knew that. They wouldn't have put that apology at the end of their video if they didn't already know they were going to offend people. Then they put a lackluster apology saying, well, I really didn't mean to offend you any. Listen to the video's ending very carefully and you'll see this for yourself. That's what I was trying to get there. That was the point I was trying to get across. This was a slick-willed apology for something that really was offending people. And I was personally offended by this. Not because of the singing, not because of the choice of the songs, but the format that they chose to use in this video. And their lackluster apology afterwards. It was a politically correct apology. It had nothing to do with sincerity. There was no sincerity whatsoever in that apology. Anybody that says that is lying. Period. Or they're too stupid to realize that. Okay? So let's read some more of these responses. We have Michael Drew, and it says, well, it's Michael Drew Beck, okay? Michael Drew Beck said, they said that they were just doing some bands they enjoyed through history. Not every band they could think of that was popular. That's not what they were doing. Are you blind? Zach Simon says, also they're kids. Whoa! Back up here. Every one of them was a high school graduate, not a kid. Every last one of them. So that's inexcusable. The 3 standing are barely 21 now, and this is almost 2 years old. So if we subtract 21, and we subtract 2 from 21, what do we get? We get 19. So they aren't kids anymore. They stopped being kids at 18 years old. That's legal age. There's an ignorant statement. You want a definition of ignorance? There you go. Mia Teresa Hoffman-Clutchy says, the fact that some younger people even take the time to appreciate older music is more than enough. No, it's not. They're not going to represent those decades the way you would. That's because they did improper research. Want to know why? They didn't live during those times. You don't have to live in those times to do research. Shoot, I didn't live in the 50s, and I did enough research to tell you what 50s music was really like. And I'm going to continue to do that. My goodness, just appreciate their talent and acknowledgement for music from the generations. Do you hear the word conformity in that? Don't criticize them in any way, shape, or form. Just make sure to appreciate it. That's conformity. That's the same type of conformity that you saw in World War II. That's what you saw in communism. That's what you see in socialism. That's conformity. Don't believe me? Go back to the definition of conformity and read it for yourself. Okay, so finally I replied back. They could always research the music before they perform it. There is something called the internet these days. Heaven forbid that kids learn anything these days. And that's an accurate statement. Okay? But it goes on. Jake Miller. this is another one. To those of you complaining about certain decades being misrepresented, they also skipped 600 years between homophonic plain chant and 17th century canon variation. Then entirely skipped the classical period in favor of one romantic piece, then straight on to the 1900s. Then they decided to cover every decade. The Thüringen music lover in me is screaming, but the point of this video is to exhibit their appreciation of the diversity of Western tonal music. Let's just not whine. Again, there's that word conformity again. Hear it? Okay, next comment. A boy named Sue and the cynical storm is quelled in one fell swoop. Bravo. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Apparently this guy, his handle is a boy named Sue, and the cynical storm is quelled in one fell swoop. Bravo. Okay. Well, let's see. Brooke Monty, I agree. They added a hip-hop beat that is not at all part of the original sound to everything in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So not only did they have a poor selection to totally misrepresent the decades, but then they added a hip-hop beat to go along with it. As a YouTube teacher, I give them an F. Period. And now you know why. Carol Holstein, they also asked you to excuse them if they left out your favorite artists. That's a politically correct move. That is not a sincere apology. Period. They were trying to do it in only 4 minutes. Shame on you for criticizing them. See, there's the conformity again. They are awesome. Oh, don't ever criticize them. Maybe you should create your own version if you can. Sounds like envy to me. This wasn't envy, but okay. So, now up until this point, I hadn't even thought about doing a series of videos on this topic at all. But after the next few comments, I changed my tune. Deanna Parata, hey, it was only 4 minutes. They can't cover everything in only 4 minutes. No, but they can cover the major stuff. I hope they do more, and yes, we'd all joyously listen even if it was longer than 12 minutes. Please do more. Again, conformity, conformity, conformity. Do you hear it? Okay. Jody Chichoff. Jody Chichoff Nolan. Stop complaining and finding fault and appreciate it for what it is and them spreading their message. Conformity, conformity, conformity. Jonna Kaling. How can you complain? Selfish, ungrateful. They were awesome. Conformity. Bradley Hamlet. Okay, Bradley Hamlet. Ted, if you think you could do a better job, then do it. Otherwise, shut up. That's when I started coming up and formulating this idea of doing these videos myself. Okay? Nancy Weeks Beaver. Really? You are complaining about their choice of music? This was awesome. Again, conformity. Ernesto Lopez. Get over yourself, Ted. In other words, don't ever say anything bad about them. Conformity. Chris Deedle. Shut up, doofus. Did I say more? Karen Overman. Who are you to choose and or decide what songs they sing? Well, I'll explain that. I agree with everyone else who thinks they're awesome. I'd pay to go see them if they were in my area. They're amazing and talented group of our younger generation. Conformity, conformity, conformity. Okay. So who am I to decide? I'm the person that's saying, do not misrepresent history. Period. If all you're going to do is sing a bunch of songs, just say it in the beginning. Go to the beginning of the video, say, these are songs that we like from these particular decades. I hope you enjoy. If they'd have done that, I wouldn't have said another word. They didn't do that at the beginning of the video. They were misrepresenting history, and that's what I'm angry about. Okay? So, what was my reply back? I'm a person who lived through the entire 1970s. That's right. I lived through the whole decade, so I know the decade very well. I'm also a well-educated YouTube content producer. That is absolutely a fact about myself. You've seen it for yourself. What is the message we are sending to these young adults? I didn't say children. They are not children. I said young adults. Are we telling them it's personally acceptable to not do research on a topic before they present it? Are we trying to lower our educational standards? Their video didn't say we just want to sing a few songs from a few decades. This is what I said. They were saying that they were properly representing those decades. That's what the video is actually saying when you have a title that says Evolution of Music and you have a counter up on the upper right corner. That's the message they were saying. Since they don't want to perform their proper research for these decades, I will do it instead. This was at the point where I was finally saying, you know what? If these people are not going to fix this, I'm going to fix this. Period. Be prepared for my next series of educational videos. Now, that's all I said. One, I established I was a YouTube content creator. I was an educator. And that because of what they had done in the line of misrepresenting musical history, I decided to put up my own set of videos. Okay. All right. Mackenzie Walker, if you want to get down to the basics, they specifically said they were singing some of their favorite songs throughout history. That was a politically correct statement that they placed at the end of their video, just to cover their tracks. They never said that they were trying to properly represent those decades. That's not true. The title said that, and the counter said that. That's a lie. Heaven forbid they have their own opinions and express themselves how they choose. If they're lying about the decades, then that's wrong, and it needs to be called out. Eric Bermudez, Ted, you take yourself too serious. No, I don't. I'm an educator. I take myself as serious as I need to do. Just enjoy the video. Again, conformity. Don't be bitter just because your personal favorites weren't sung. No, I'm not bitter because of that. I'm bitter because they're misrepresenting history, and they didn't get the point. Amy Goldstein. It's Amy Goldstein Cohen. Appreciate what they did. Again, conformity. Does not matter what songs were represented. Oh, yes, it does. They have awesome voices, and this was done exceptionally well. Conformity, conformity, conformity. Do I have to say it again? And it just goes on. I want you to hear these things. Annette Ripplinger. Man, they skipped hundreds of years of music. Be more universal. Conformity. So what is my reply then? My reply was, let me say this again so many of you people are confused at what I said in the first place. I never said they didn't have any musical talent. I never said that. I agree that they are great singers. That's true. So this is not an issue of their musical talent. This is an issue of their research, or as far as I'm concerned, the lack of. If all they wanted to do was sing a few of their favorite songs, I wouldn't have said a word. But they are trying to represent various decades of musical taste. And in that respect, this video is a poor representation of the musical taste of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But it doesn't matter to me now. I'm going to upload my own video series which will accurately depict these musical tastes. That way, if people of the future decide to do a similar project, they will have a resource to consult before they create such a presentation. I'm being really nice here, saying, well, okay, since they didn't do it, I'll do it myself, and then the people of the future, if they decide to do something like this again, they can consult me before doing the project and maybe not offend some people. Daniela Garofalo Hartman. Just enjoy the song for what it was. Woo! Another conformity. Don't be such a critical person. Kellyanne Wheeler-Spaeth. Ted will post a video which no one will care to watch due to your know-it-all attitude that is totally out of place right now, and if those that do watch it, I hope they tear it apart. So not only is that conformity, but that is just spiteful, really spiteful. and unnecessarily so. Sierra Templeton Arthur, call me a jerk. AJ Nicole, seriously, I get it. You think that they needed to add in other songs by different people, but why criticize? That was amazing. I'd like to see you try that. They told you at the end of the video they picked out songs that they liked and knew, so give them a break. If you can sing like that, then fine, sing your favorite songs, but unless you can, just shut up and appreciate it. They were amazing. Okay. Again, conformity, conformity, conformity. Do not point out that they were inaccurately representing the decades of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Don't ever say anything like that. Don't ever force these kids, well, kids, they're not kids. No, let's back up on this. They're not kids. They were 18, so that makes them adults. So they knew exactly what they were doing. They were high school graduates, all of them. So they knew exactly what they were doing. So they aren't kids. But I expect more out of people like that. They were young adults, and they needed to do their research. Pure and simple. And they didn't, and that's why I critiqued them. That's the only reason. Jake Crawford, you do it and try to perfectly represent every decade that makes everybody happy. Well, I'm working on that. Okay. My reply was, I will probably record a series of videos on this topic. Due to the amount of material I will have to cover, I'm sure one video will not be enough. That's true. I actually look forward to this project. After doing a little research, I found the material I will cover most insightful. That's true. Let's see. Let's go down to Sherry Rhodes. Her name is Sherry Rhodes Thurner Vaughn. I enjoyed it. It brought back a lot of good memories, and it was well done. Message is, don't say anything bad about them. Richard Harrison, come on now. Let's leave poor Ted alone here. After all, he lived through the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I did live through the 70s, and I could research the 50s and the 60s. I have relatives that have lived through the 50s and the 60s. I also have friends that have lived through the 50s and 60s, so doing research like that will not be too hard. Hey, wait, so did I. Anyway, this self-appointed expert, self-appointed, I don't have to be self-appointed. All I have to do is go to Billboard. They were experts. They've been in the business over 30 years. I think they know what music is. Who somehow believes that his taste in music is our taste in music as well, seems to have totally missed the point of this group very brief promotional presentation. I didn't miss the point at all. You missed the point. So, anyway. Sue Miller, this video was amazing. Let's just enjoy the amazing talent. Again, conformity. David Walker, sounds like Ted is a sounds like Ted's a literal jerk. Grow up, Ted. They said they did their favorite songs throughout history. Apparently you're deaf. I'm not deaf. That was a politically correct statement thrown at the end of the video just to try to cover their tracks. I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. Georgia A. McIntosh, Ted, it's not that serious. 4 minutes from the 1600s to present. They were absolutely wonderful. Just enjoy their special gift and stop picking it apart. Peace. Conformity. Lisa Crozier, sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's not a social commentary, and it does not have to be politically correct. It's just music. Conformity. Sean Lee, Ted, you're all right. It's okay to have an opinion, man. Glad somebody finally agreed with me. I like that. So my reply to him was, thank you. And for those of you who are interested, I will hopefully upload my first video today. And yes, I will cite reliable sources. Billboard, Dick Clark, Casey Kasem, Wolfman Jack. Pretty reliable sources. Unfortunately, most of them are dead, but whatever. Melissa Sanchez, sure, they left out a lot, and they said they were singing some of their favorites and had to fit it in 4 minutes. They even apologized for missing some. That was a politically correct apology. They didn't really mean it. It was well done. Great melding of voices and transitions to next song. Just enjoy it. It wasn't meant to be a research paper. Looks like a sampling of what they will do on a tour. A showcase, if you will. Again, don't ever criticize them. Michael Corliss, wow, Ted, way too totally missed the point. I got the point right on the money. demonstrate what? A hot tip you have for yourself. I'm educated. That's all it takes. Not pay the least bit of attention to the people who try, some of them nicely, to explain numbers. I paid attention to them. They didn't pay any attention to me. And to you, and have the ginormous cajones to co-opt this group's music in order to hustle people to listen to your own music. So no, I won't be listening. Okay? I never told these people I was going to sing. I told them I was going to create a series of videos that would more accurately represent the musical decades. So this guy doesn't listen at all. He wasn't going to listen. Kyle Coates. They tried getting it in 4 minutes, not 3 hours. They couldn't play every song in 4 minutes. They're only human. To this, I replied, my video series has begun. Feel free to watch. And then I had another one that supported me. He said, it was Eddie Friend. He says, you have a point considering how many songs from 2000 on were represented. Okay? Now, here's a good one. Angela Nix. He made this comment to get people riled up so he could then push his own agenda. Oh, really? During the first half of these comments, I didn't even consider making a full-blown video response to any of this. So that's not true. You guys who are getting upset are catching on to that, right? Since making his idiotic comment, he has since pushed his own series like 5 times. No, I just told people that's what I was going to do. I wasn't pushing on anybody. People can watch if they want. So his true reason for making the first comment should be pretty clear. Very manipulative. He probably only watched the video to find something to criticize because this band is amazing and popular, and he figured out a way to ride their coattails. I don't need to ride anybody's coattails. I'm doing perfectly well on my own. It's probably not the first time he's done this. It's the first time I've done a full massive video response to something like this. So that's wrong. Alright, my response to her was, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's not the reason I watched the video in the first place. Someone posted the video on their Facebook page, which is true, and that's how I saw it. I wouldn't have known about it otherwise. Had it not been for the way they presented the material, I would have lauded the video on my YouTube channel. And that's true. Because if they hadn't misrepresented the decades, they were good singers. And I wanted to laud them. But I suppose their video will now be more viral because I responded to it. So they will probably benefit from my commentary. The thing is, I'm not going to benefit from them. They're probably going to benefit from me. Exactly the reverse. Angela Nix, thank you. Your self-entitled response just proved my point. It didn't prove anything. I'm not really sure how you commenting makes you feel like you helped them. Oh, because it draws attention to their video. I saw the video the same way you did. Don't know why you think people would stumble across this video simply because you commented on it. Mainly because I have 700 plus subscribers and they'll watch the video and then spread it around. That's really funny though. For a self-proclaimed educated man, that's the last comment. That last comment was even more naive than the first. No, I think you're the naive person, not me. Okay. My response back was, again, I hate to disappoint you, but I never proved your point in my last comment. Do you think that I'm desperate for ratings on my YouTube channel? Have you ever seen my YouTube channel? I seriously doubt it. Before you make such a claim again, feel free to watch my videos and see my ratings. I assure you that I don't have to resort to something like this for ratings. And that's true. I don't. I have plenty of ways to get ratings on this YouTube channel other than this. Then she replies back, well, see, there you go again, pushing your channel. I'm literally laughing out loud right now at your last comment. Thank you so much for that. Have a good night. My reply back was, I will definitely have a great evening, and I'm looking forward to producing more videos on this topic. This is the most fun I've ever had. Okay. But there's one more that I'm going to go ahead Well, here's one. Jacinta Wiley Muse. Very good points. I think they may need to do another video and include those artists you've missed. Forget Whitney Houston. They forgot Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross. The list goes on, but good observation. See? Not everybody disagree with me. Okay. There was one I wanted to go. And then we have Ko Jin Yang. He's a successful YouTube channel. You barely have 100 views. See, I've accidentally created a second YouTube channel. It's just labeled my name, okay? And so therefore they looked under my name instead of my YouTube handle. So to that I responded, obviously you didn't search very well. Look under the name Speed Learner. I can find that. Okay. All right. Trying to find the other comment down here. There was one more. Give me just a minute here. Ah, yes. Lynette Woods. Incidentally, Ted, you may be very clever and talented, which I am. Skillful, yes. A genius, even. But your interpersonal skills... Oh, I'm going to love this one. Your interpersonal skills, as demonstrated on this thread, leave much to be desired. Or as they say in the US of A, they suck. You have managed to come across as a pedantic, self-righteous know-it-all. It is said that those who can do, those who can't teach, and those who can't even teach criticize. I don't know who you are or what is on your YouTube channel, and you have made sure that I have no desire to go and find out. See, this is an uneducated person. This person did not properly research me before making these comments. Interpersonal relations. Oh, I have another hyperlink down here below. I want you to check it out. I want you to see what interpersonal relations are all about before you say one word about this. Okay? It must be wonderful to think yourself so much better and more important than the rest of us. Have a nice life. Okay. Interpersonal relations. How are these people supposed to see my body language in a Facebook comment? Or do much of anything else that the video that I just showed you tells you about interpersonal relations? How are you supposed to be an expert in interpersonal relations on Facebook? I'd like to know that. That is probably the most uneducated thing I've ever heard. These people live in stupidity. Oh, they use fancy words, but they have no clue as what those things really mean. Oh yeah, just fling out the word pedantic. You can go fling that around all you want. Do you really want to know what that means? Do you truly understand what interpersonal relations mean? I doubt it seriously. But this is what I got. These people live in intentional stupidity. They are conformists, and they have no intentions of watching. These are the kinds of people, I guarantee you, some of these very same people are the kind of people that stand outside of a fast food joint and demand $15 an hour for wages. See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. You wanted educated, there it is. I had one student one time tell me, educate and win. Well, I think I have pretty much educated you people, and I have won. These are conformists. These are people that live in intentional stupidity. They have no clue as to what they're talking about. And I deal with this all the time on my YouTube channel. And that's one of the reasons why they don't watch me. Because they know that I'll call them on it. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. Anyway, I think I've taken up way too much of your time. Thank you for watching. I will tell you one last thing before I go. As the winter months continue on and I'm still going through retail Christmas right now. Not real Christmas, retail Christmas. Big difference. I may not have as much time to make videos, and even if I do, you may not always see my face, but keep in mind, it is not my face that's important here. It's what I'm saying that's important. Those are the things that are important. Okay? Do you understand? Do you comprehend what I'm telling you? The things I'm telling you are important. Not my face, not my voice, but the things I'm telling you. And I may post more things on Instagram. So just because you don't see me here doesn't mean I'm not teaching. I may actually start uploading websites. And if I do, I'll let you know, and you can go over there and you can check that out for yourself. Okay? My Instagram handle is SpeedLearner, just like here on YouTube, so it's very easy to find. And you can look this up for yourself. You wanted an education, you got it. I will continue to educate all you people. But I just had to cover this so you could really grasp what's going on, especially here in the United States. If they'll say this, and think about this, they actually took the time, think about this, to type these responses to me. I want you to think about that for a second. They actually took the time to put up these kind of responses to me. This is the kind of channel that makes you think. And now you can. Anyway, that's all I got to say for tonight. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.